Shalom, my name is Francois Wessels. In this week's edition of Contemplative Participating, we will be discussing centering. Centering as another of the central tenets of contemplative practice. In our first edition of Contemplative Participating, we discussed grounding as a basis of contemplative practice, and you will come to know, realize that all the applications of contemplative practice will basically be founded in centering and grounding. To that we will add healthy boundaries to form a triangle of spiritual practices on which we can build a vast number of applications of contemplative practice. All our contemplative practices will basically have two core elements. In a certain wordlessness, we will find rest, peace, and confirm the indwelling presence of God and divine love. Once we've established and centered our very being around divine love, there will also be another realization, another awareness, and that is the awareness of oneness, of being connected. And that we will find in the spiritual practice of grounding. So what is centering? Centering can be considered to be both an invitation to openness as well as a reminder or a focus of our awareness, our presence. It engages the physical core to ground us in the here and now. With all our spiritual practices or contemplative practices, a certain openness will be required. And that will be associated with a physical experience of a spiritual reality. Now, let us get to the practical implementation of centering. How do we center ourselves? I think we should start by perhaps just standing up again, if that's possible for you. If you could stand up, perhaps even take off your shoes. And once again, just become aware of solid earth underneath your feet. Just feel the ground underneath your feet. And as you become aware of how you're supported in this way, you can surrender to that. Surrender your body weight to that. And as you open up in this way, you might become aware of being grounded in the deep love of God. And thus, in your openness, become channel to the inflow of that love as you become immersed in love. As you feel yourself filled up with love, you may feel a certain warmth in your feet, in your hands, and a deep calmness in your very core. If you could now just rest in that for a while. And as we've become aware of our grounding, perhaps now we might also experience a certain oneness. Oneness with God, in whom we are grounded, but oneness with the rest of creation as well, as we all become bearers of divine DNA. And as you become aware of your being connected in this way, you might have an experience of being woven into the tapestry of God's creation, never to be alone again. And now if we could center ourselves, first of all by just becoming aware of a spot just in front of your backbone and just below your belly button. Just become aware of that spot in your core. And if you want to strengthen this experience of centering, you can even contract your core. And now you can imagine being centered around the love of God, the very presence of God in your life. And this may confirm your who am I question. This may confirm your identity in God. And you can even use language to strengthen this. Words can always be used to confirm that which you have experienced in silence. So perhaps you can now ask your core, how am I doing? How do I like what is happening now in my life? Can I like it or not? And now, once you've experienced this centering, which is so important in these uncertain times within which we live, now we no longer have to wonder about who we are, what our purpose in this life might be, where all might lead us. And in this centering, we can just settle. Settle in a quiet understanding of the fullness of our humanness. I'd like to encourage you to practice this on a daily basis. Make this part of the fabric of your life, of your lifestyle. Together with grounding, which I would recommend you do at least twice a day. Just confirm the core of your being by a centering practice like this, and weave that into your contemplative daily practice. And now, may you be confirmed in your identity in God, and may you have a very physical experience of being blessed all day long. Thank you.